Hi team. Today I'm going to discuss about the ADF. Okay. So ADF we have a copy data activity. Okay. I'm going to discuss about copy data activity. So what is copy data activity? Why we need to use the copy data activity? So if you are learning in Azure Data Factory, so the first component is copy data activity. It comes under move and transform. Okay. Move and trans transform. Okay, so in this section you can refer the copy data activity which is available under the move and transform section. So what this there are two components basically, one is copy data activity and one is data flow. So these two components which you can found in the copy data activity and data flows, which is under the move and transform section. Okay, so here what is basically a copy data? So copy data, earlier I have explained ELT transformation, right? You can perform the ELT transformation extensively by using the ELT and copy data activity. Okay, so in the copy data activity, what we can do is we can load the data from source to target or a sink. So target or sink is both. You can call the same terminology. Okay, target is nothing but your sink. So let me explain what is your source and what is your sink. So we are going to perform the EL operation, right? So EL operation you can perform file to file load. Okay, so there are various ways you can load file to file. Okay, and another one is um, file to DB. Okay, so file to DB is the one, and another one is DB to file. Okay, so these are the different ways which you could perform the ETL operations. Okay, or ELT. So here we are doing for the EL operation. Okay, so this EL operation could be performed file to DB, and DB to file. It's a any DB like SQL DB, Oracle DB, Cosmos DB, MongoDB, anything. Okay. So here, if you take the source, so um, any ETL transformation, source is very, very important. Your source is nothing but your CSV file. Okay, so your .parquet file format. Okay, .org. There are various other sources as well. Okay, so these are nothing but your sources. Okay, so these are in the format of file format. Okay, so these are all the file format which we use to get the input data. Okay, so these are all the format which we are going to load our data. Okay, so in this CSV files or a Parquet file, we are using as a source, and by using the linked service. Okay, so remember this one, linked service is nothing but your connection. You are making a connection between your source and your target. Okay, so you are making a connection to connect the data source. Example, your data is in the format of blob storage, in the format of CSV and Parquet. I wanted to read these files and I wanted to load into a DB. Okay, so in between, to connect to this storage, example, my storage is a blob storage account or a ADLS example. Okay, so these are all the storage account, right? So this storage account, how I am going to connect? So I cannot directly access this connection, right? Either I need to make a connection to this storage account, and then I can retrieve the data. So now what I am doing, I am making one connection to my data source. Okay, so this data source, whatever blob and ADLS is there, that is nothing but your data set. So data set is nothing but where your data actually located, either a blob or either a ADLS or either a SQL, anything. Okay, so that is nothing but your data set. And the connection, whatever you are making to access that data set, nothing but a linked service. Linked service is nothing but a connection. Okay. And then you are loading the data. It's a in copy data activity. You don't have any transformations. You can simply load the data into a target system. Okay. So in this scenario, our sink is either your SQL, blob, or ADLS. Anywhere you can load the data into the sink. Okay. So it's in the table format or a file format. Anything you can load by using the sink. Okay. So in copy data, we don't have any transformations. Only you can directly load the data, and thereafter you can do your transformation by using the stored procedure activity or any other script functions. You can manipulate your data. Okay. So let's quickly show that copy data activity over here. Let me show you over here. If you go to the Azure Data Factory, and this is my Azure Data Factory resource, click on here, new pipeline. And once you click on here, you see here, move and transform. So this is the selection which I have selected. And here you see copy data and data flow. Select the copy data and paste it over here. And then you see here, name is nothing but what your copy data will do. Okay. I'm just adding move to file. Okay. So simply I'm giving move to file. And these are all the activity, whether you need to start or you need to deactivate. If you select deactivate, you see here, it got grayed out. Okay. So active means you can activate the particular activity, and this is the timeout and retrieve. So retry is nothing but how many times, example, this copy data got failed in between, you can retry. Okay. That many times. Okay. Example, due to some network issue, this copy data activity failed. I wanted to do auto restart. You can give the retries. If you wanted to give one retry, you can give, or a two retries. It's based on your requirements. Okay. So intervals also, you can specify the intervals. I wanted to retry after 1 hour, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. It's in the format of seconds only. It's not hours by default. You can give some 30 seconds, 50 seconds. Okay. So in that particular extent, it will give. You see here, number of retry attempts must be 0 to 4999. Okay. So if any interviewer will ask, what are the retry counts I can provide? You can provide up to 4999 retry counts. Okay. And now you see here, there is a source and there is a red color mark, and both source and sink. So if you see here, these are the two sections where it represented here. Since I have not configured, it is showing as a 1 mark because I have not yet configured. Okay. So now you see here, this is the important place. And my example, my files are in a storage account called ADLS storage account. So currently my files are in a ADLS storage account, retail process. So let me open this. Okay. And if you open, I have a container. So in the container section, so I'll take my files here. Okay. So these are all my files. Okay. So currently I have ORC, JSON, and CSV. These are all the file formats I have. So what I will do, I will load simply a customer CSV file into a some other format. Okay, let's do that exercise now, and click on source, click on new. Once you click on new, there are various source which provided by Microsoft. You see here, you can connect Amazon RDS, Amazon Redshift, Amazon S3, and Blob, Cosmos, MySQL, and you can connect to Synapse, and you can connect to Concur, and FTP, SFTP, Google Ads. There's various other systems which they are providing wide variety of data sources you can select. You see here, Azure, and you can select various databases, files. Okay, so these are all the sources you can select. At the moment, my files are located into a blob storage. So what I'll do, I'll simply select my storage account, click continue. And what is the format? It is very, very important. what is your source file format? Source file format is in the I'm going to convert the CSV into the some other formats. Okay. So customer CSV file. Now I'm going to select here, continue, and you can give the meaningful name src underscore customer, so that I will come to know this data set is belongs to my customer data set. And linked service, right? So you see here, I have created one linked service. Now similar way, I'm going to make a connection over here. Click on here. This is my existing linked service. So now I'm going to configure a new linked service. Okay. So this I will add as retail link. Okay. So this is my name of the linked service and it's a blob storage account. I'm mentioning, so it's a blob or ADLS or SQL I'm going to represent over here. And so this is my authentications and connection string. So you see here, if you know your storage account, you can directly enter manually. If the subscription not displayed or your storage account not displayed, you can directly enter by using manually. Okay. So at the moment I'm using the free trial. I'm just selecting my storage account name, and my storage account name is retail sales data process. So don't confuse here. These are all the other storage names, and my file is available under retail sales data process. Okay. So that's why I'm going to select the retail sales data process. Okay. So these are the annotations and everything. Okay. Connection strings, annotations, and parameters, anything you can give. And click the test connection. Once you select, and it will be complete. Click create. Once you click create, right? So you see here there is another file path which is asking. Click browse over here and you see here retail data ingestion. And what is my file? My file is a customer.csv. Click OK. And first row as a header means your file, whatever the column value is there, right? So it will come as a header. Okay. And then I'm using the import schema. Click OK. So once this is done, these are all the different path type. One is a file path in dataset, prefix, wild path, list file. Okay. So these I'm going to explain in detail. First, I'm explaining the file path dataset. Okay. So after that, sync. So here I wanted to show you first row as a header, right? So how it works. If you see here, if you preview the data, okay, so the data shows the proper values, okay, like column, whatever the file have columns, right? So all the columns, rows and headers, everything it, okay. So once it previews, you see here, it is having a proper header, customer ID, customer unique ID, customer state, all this data, right? So these data got displayed over here. And example, if I uncheck the first row as a header, let's preview the data over here. If you preview the data here, you see the columns, whatever it there, it moved to the actual file. So prep 0, prep 1. So the actual columns are considered as prep 0 and prep 1. Okay. But actual columns are this one. Okay. So make sure that you need to use the first row as a header. Okay. Based on your requirement. Okay. So and sync, select the new, and I'm going to move into a blob storage. I'm doing the file to file load and I'm converting into the Parquet file format. And this is my sync SK and Parquet. So this is my Parquet file, and the linked service, you can just reuse this one. Okay. Retail link, because it's the same folder path, and select the browse, and I'm going to move into the same location, but the format is different, only thing. Okay. So let's click OK. And to execute this, you can just simply select debug. So mappings also you can change if you click on import schema. Okay. So in the import schema, now if you wanted to delete some column you don't want, you can just delete this, or if any mappings are changed, you can just change the mappings. This is for source and this is for sink. Okay. So all my mappings are correct. Now I'm going to execute this pipeline. Okay. So might be there are some conditions which selected. Let me go on to the source and I'm going to select the properties over here. Let's go over here and general section, and it said 0. I'm not giving any retries currently. And so it is, I'm going to give it as a 30 seconds just. Okay. So now let's debug it. So I have executed this and our outcome will be Parquet file will get generated into the target system. Okay. So what is your target? Target is a blob storage account, and so it's completed successfully. So when you are working in real time, these two are very, very important. These two, input and output and preview. So this will says your input data in a JSON format. You see here. So this is your file, customer ID, and these are all the information which you have, and it is showing all the columns. And then output section also very, very important. Here you can find how many files it read, how many files it written, and how many rows it read, and how many rows copied, and the duration, everything you can get. And another important thing is pets. Okay, if you click on this pets, it will shows the clear information in a pictorial manner. Okay, and the throughput and the durations, everything it will show here in a single view. Okay, the rows are how many rows it read, how many rows it written. Okay, everything it will show. Okay, so that's how the copy data will work, and I'm going to explain other important file path types in copy data activity in next sessions. Thank you. Bye.